size, texture is kind of important. It is. Right,
size matters, you're saying.
Exactly. It does matter. And I don't want a big one in my mouth, all right? That's what I'll say, and I'll leave it at that.
It's fitting that that's the open from Thursday's PFT Live, because we've spent the last 10 minutes talking about various game show bloopers that were incredibly off color but also hilarious, such as the newlywed game, and this really wasn't off color. It's just Gronk is possibly the stupidest human being who has ever lived based upon his appearance on the $100,000 pyramid. I mean, you can talk about, like, this guy's really stupid. You can't appreciate how stupid he is until you watch that. It's like you're trying to be a moron, and you still can't be as bad as he was giving or taking clues on the $100,000 pyramid.
Yep. Rob Gronkowski, if you need to know Mike Florio's address, let me know. I can point you in the direction.
He'd never find it. You could stand him in front of the house and he'd go over there.
You're on a roll. Well, hey, I don't know. Again, size matters, right? Big body, maybe a smaller brain, I don't know. But on the football field, the size matters. Size matters with the hot dog, too. There's a certain size you just can't deal with, all right? And, yes, size matters. That's what I've heard out in the streets.
All right. Speaking of size, this is a size 48. This is an original Randy Moss jersey from 1998. I went through my closet the other day, inspired by the Monday night game in Minnesota where they were showing him a lot of love. He announced last week that he's got bile duct cancer. He's had surgery. He's going to have chemo and radiation, but he's in great spirits. And as I've said, he can be a great inspiration to so many others who are fighting cancer. And I think every cancer patient needs that external boost. And when a high-profile individual embraces the fight and uses it as a way to say, let's go kick this disease's ass, it really does help people through that horrible lather, rinse, repeat of chemotherapy. I saw my mom go through it. She'd be horribly sick for a week and a half, and then she'd feel fine for a few days, and then she dreads the next treatment, and it's over and over and over again. So I dug this out. I got mine, and I got Alex's. I bought one for my son at the same time, so I got the father-son Randy Moss jersey. And this is back in the days when they, you didn't buy that. You still buy the cheap ones, but it only takes so many washings before the paint starts to come off.
The plastic starts to fall off in the washer machine.
I think I need to find a good frame to put this in and put it down in the barn. I think that's what
you don't
I need
to
do.
put it in
this
a
might
frame.
Be the last time I wear it.
That jersey stinks. Get a real one. I mean, come on. Like, don't you know anybody? Get a real Randy Moss jersey.
But this is.
Oh, it has nostalgia.
1998.
Okay.
I ran the New York City Marathon wearing this in 1998.
Wow.
That was the whole magical 1998 Vikings.
Yeah.
Was taking the league by storm.
Magic by choking in the biggest game of the year. Right. Magical.
It was magical other than that.
I know. It was a great year. It cheated us out of what could have been an epic Super Bowl between Denver and the Minnesota Vikings. It's the second Minnesota Vikings jersey of the week for you. For your second favorite team.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't wear it. When did I wear another one?
Well, we had a show on Monday. It was a hoodie, but it was 44. Okay, you
hoodie.
know what? It had numbers and a name on it. What? You're such a lawyer. Get out of here. All right? Other thing
I thought you were talking about Kirk Cousins from last week.
No. Another thing is, go Randy Moss. I second everything you said. Randy Moss, I know he's a fighter. He will fight. He's awesome, and you're right. He can do a lot of good with this situation. I got a chance to spend a few weeks with Randy Moss, like I've always told you when I was with the Tennessee Titans, and it's some of the times I'll never forget. I was in awe. I mean, again, Randy Moss is one of those handful of people in my career, or at least in my era, and I think anybody would tell you this, where, hey, the rest of these guys are good football players, but this guy is on another level. Like, this isn't the same as the rest of us. Randy Moss, Barry Sanders, Ray Lewis, right? Adrian Peterson would have been another one that jumped out like that. Different level. Randy Moss, special guy and player.
And the fact that he was from West Virginia has always been a point of pride for me, and I assume most West Virginians, although, he's had some controversies during his career. I don't care. The guy was the freak of freaks. I remember growing up, like, when I first became infected with the football virus, like Lou Picone, who went to West Liberty State College and had, a cup of coffee with the Jets or something. That's a big deal because he's got a West Virginia connection. This is a guy who was the dominant player in the game for several years, who was from West Virginia, so that was always a big deal. And he landed with the Vikings. I remember the day he got drafted. I couldn't believe it. I knew he was going to be a star, and I thought that with him on the roster, there would be multiple Super Bowl wins, as did he. Alas, that was not to be. All right, let's get to it. It is the PFTPM, Chris Simms Unbuttoned, Joint Mega Picks podcast, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Oh, pizza.
Or pizza, comma, pizza, or pizza, no, comma, pizza, as the case may be. What in the world is this?
Oh, yeah, that's the old Rudolph.
That's a hell of a Rudolph. Right, you see that thing coming down your lane, you get the hell out.
No,
that is scary.
You're exactly. Well, that's right. That's probably why they'd put you at the front of the sleigh. They'd go, damn, Dr. Doom as a fucking reindeer with a red light on his nose? Who the hell wants to mess with that?
Hey, you work as Herbie, baby. That's pretty good.
I do.
Yeah,
I really do. Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't want those giant hands in my mouth, though. If you became a dentist, that's
well, it's not a far
sure.
stretch for me. Blonde hair, gigantic head, small face. It works.
Could you imagine? You're kind of. I'm not being an ass here. You're kind of limited in life in what you can do when you have giant hands. Like surgeon, probably not. Dentist, probably not. There's certain jobs that require. The ability to get into small confined spaces.
Definitely not for me.
Big hands. And
no doubt.
Work.
No doubt.
All right. By the way, can we show that again? I never really thought of this before, but look at those little antlers on. It's like two little turds dropped on his head. They look like licorice gumdrops. Like it's better to not even have antlers than to have those two things on there.
Yeah, he's young. He's maturing, man. He's just getting his, like you said, size matters. So he's letting it grow out. And one day it's going to be big and he'll be the big buck in town.
By the way, we were tied on every category last week. And there it is, best bets. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with best bets. I'm 1-2, you're 3-0, but we're 12-4 straight up, 9-7 against the spread. I still got a 4-game lead straight up. 18 games against the spread. Stop the count there. Still up in play and undecided for straight up. Best bets, I ain't going to catch. I'm not going to make up 6.5 games over the final few weeks in the postseason.
Well, so I am going to make up 4 and straight up. I'm coming, all right? Here I come. Today's the day.
First, we got to disagree on 4. I'm at the point where I'm just going to pick whatever you pick.
I know, and that's probably where this is the time of the year I have to complain behind the scenes and say, no, he's got to pick some of these first.
I won't do that. I've got all my picks here. I can send them to Pete now if you want me to. I never do that. We've argued about that.
I know we have.
And because you suggested I was lying.
I did, yes. Yep.
All right.
Yourself. Let's go.
Every week this season, you can play along with us. DraftKings has set up the free $1,000 Florio and Simms pick 'em pool. Pick every game against the spread for a chance at a $1,000 prize pool every week.
Download the DraftKings app, click on the Pools tab, and enter the Florio and Simms free $1,000 pick 'em pools to make your picks.
Just like us, you must enter all of your picks before kickoff of the first game of the week on Thursday night. And tonight, it is the penultimate, as the smart kids and cool kids say. I don't know how cool it is, but Thursday night football. Broncos at Chargers. Chargers favored by 2.5 points with an over-under of 41. Denver is an NFL best 11-3 against the spread this season. Chargers won back in week 6, 23-17 or 23-16, one or the other. Who do you like to win tonight, and what's your score?
Yeah, I mean, this is a coin flip football game. I don't feel necessarily comfortable with my pick. I think this is a defensive struggle, field goal wins it type of game here. I think, one, I'm concerned about the Chargers' offense and their ability to move the ball consistently and score points. Like we talked about this earlier today. They haven't been able to run the ball. Usually after you get about late in the second quarter, they've already exhausted all their game plans, special pass plays to attack that defense. And then you see the defense the Chargers offense kind of stall out for the rest of the football game. It's kind of been the MO for about the last 5 weeks, really, for the Chargers on that side of the ball. Denver's defense is phenomenal. The only thing I worry about with that part of it and Denver's defense, which I think will give the Chargers offense a lot of tough times, is just that Denver can be a little over-aggressive at times. Put everybody at the line of scrimmage, blitz, leave somebody in a one-on-one situation to where you just throw it up like we saw in the Cleveland Browns game, and they're wide open running for a touchdown. So that's what I worry about a little bit. On the flip side there, The Chargers defense is still damn good. I know it's taken a little bit of a beating here as of late, but again, Denver's offense is not the kind of offense where you can just circle it and go, well, they'll tear them up. We know what they are. They're a little all over the place too. Their running game is inconsistent. It's middle of the road at best. They're just kind of getting some other weapons involved as far as Marvin Mims and Vili. I always mess up his names. As far as the last few weeks, they become a real thing there. Having said all that, when it comes to trusting an offense, I'm going to trust the offense that's coached by Sean Payton. I think he can find up more avenues to move the ball. He'll have a few game plan plays ready for the Chargers. And honestly, I think I like their weapons better. I'm going to go Denver 20-17.
Oh, we almost had a bingo bango. I've got 24-17. But same thing you think. Second pass through against the Chargers. Got the film to study. Got all these weeks of Jim Harbaugh Chargers defense to try to crack the code and game plan specific. How do we defeat this team? Sean Payton staying up late every night of the week, coming up with ideas, looking at other games, looking at the sizzle reel of all the touchdowns from every week of the season, looking for anything that'll work against that defense. He'll find it. Broncos, even though the Chargers need it more, the Broncos, I think, even out the season series and put themselves in position to clinch a playoff berth, their first one since winning Super Bowl 50 9 years ago. Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern, holiday special, Saturday games that were created by the NFL's desire and change, of course, on playing on Christmas Day. They had to move 2 of the games to Saturday to give the teams enough time between games. So 2 of the teams playing on Christmas are the Texans and the Chiefs. They get together in Kansas City. Kansas City's favored by 3.5 points. It looks like Patrick Mahomes is good to go. Over under a 42. Chiefs are 6-8 against the spread this season, but they did cover last week in Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect the Chiefs to ever blow anybody out. I mean, we kind of know where the Chiefs games are going to be for the most part. They're always around 23-20, 24-21, in that range somewhere, right? So that's where I expect this too. I think the big thing about this football game and everything you look at is I expect the defense to struggle. I do. I'm totally picking this game like Mahomes is playing. He's not going to be totally 100%. I don't expect that either. And that's rough and tough sledding with an offensive line like we've seen here, especially at the left tackle position, where he's got to avoid danger more times than not when he drops back to pass. That's a problem. That scares me. Against these pass rushers of the Houston Texans, I mean, they're going to be around him. They're going to have to, I think, play a little bit more of a conservative style on offense, worrying about we can't just drop him back and have him avoiding guys off the left side all game long. So I think that changes a little bit of their dynamic. But the bottom line is I just don't trust Houston's offense like I've been telling you for about 8 weeks now. Again, I'm sick of hearing about it. It's not C.J. Stroud. It's the offense. It's the offensive line. It's the approach in general. It has to be thought about changing. They got to get more quick, short passing game going. Right, Mike, this doesn't make sense. Wait, we don't protect well, but we're going to run plays that you have to protect for a long time for the receivers to get down the field and do it. Right? That the rubber doesn't meet the road there. That makes no sense. Say that out loud. Wait, we don't protect well, but we like to throw plays that take a long time to develop. They have to change a little bit. And they're going to have major issues protecting against this Kansas City defensive line. I'm going to take the Chiefs in an ugly one as usual, but I'm going to go 24-20 Chiefs.
I got 20-16, same margin, and it is a slight cover by the Chiefs, which I don't feel all that great about, but right. It seems right. And look, the Texans are a team that is like the Dolphins, team the Texans just beat on Sunday, where show me the signature win, the signature road win for the Houston Texans. They don't have one this year. They went to Minnesota and got obliterated. They went to Green Bay, didn't work out there.
Yeah.
They haven't gone on the road and gotten a big win, and it's not going to happen, I believe. Whether it's Patrick Mahomes, Carson Wentz, Steve Bono, it's not going to happen on
Went
Saturday
to Green Bay, and Jordan Love threw 3 interceptions, and they still lost.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They should have won, could have won, but they still lost.
Right.
All right. Steelers at the Ravens, late Saturday afternoon. Ravens are favored by 6.5. over Pittsburgh, even though the Steelers won round one several weeks back in Pittsburgh, over under 45. I am 10-4 straight up and 9-5 against the spread, picking the games of my second favorite team, which will become my first favorite team if they sign Kirk Cousins. Who do you have?
Well, I'm expecting a little bit of a different game here. We talked about this on Pro Football Talk earlier today. If this game stays in the high teens, 19-17, 20-17, then yeah, I like Pittsburgh. And that's usually where these games are, is they're usually in that point range. I think this is the one that's going to change it. One, it does feel like the Baltimore Ravens have fixed some of their defensive issues and have been better in the secondary the last 3 to 4 games. So that's encouraging. We know they can stop the run and do that. George Pickens, his status, right? That's huge, right? I'm expecting he's going to play here. Is he going to be totally 100%? I don't know. It doesn't look like that. So that bothers me, right? So, and this is not a super explosive Pittsburgh offense. I think second time around, the Baltimore offense getting another crack at this Pittsburgh defense. They left some plays on the field the first time around. They certainly could have moved the ball more, whether it was Lamar missing passes, drops. He played one of his poorer games in that game, let alone they had the interception out of Justice Hill's hand ripped out. He missed a touchdown opportunity. I think Baltimore self-corrects here, scores more points, makes the game a little bit more on their terms. I'm going to go 28-20 Ravens.
The injury issues are very real for the Steelers on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Two of their best players are question marks. We'll get the final designations today because it's a Saturday game, but Pickens didn't practice Tuesday or Wednesday with that hamstring injury. TJ Watt, who's got an ankle injury that happened late in the game against the Eagles, didn't practice Tuesday, limited in practice on Wednesday. Greater degree of optimism. He'll be good to go. And I got the impression from Mike Tomlin last week that they're going to sit Pickens until he's 100%.
Seems like it.
They don't want to have that get aggravated. And even if it means not winning the division, even if it means having to go on the road in the playoffs, they want Pickens to be healthy when it's time to play single elimination football. I got the Ravens 23-17, which makes me a little nervous because I kind of feel like they should cover, but I'm not changing it. I'm sticking with the number I put down. Didn't know the spread when I did it. 23-17, at home, late afternoon, lights on, national TV. Lamar Jackson shows up, gets his second win against the Steelers. He's 1-4 all time, and his only win came, as we said earlier today, in 2019 in overtime against a combo platter of Mason Rudolph and Devlin Duck Dodges. Early Sunday, Giants at the Falcons. Kirk Cousins is out. Michael Penix Jr. is in. The line moved from 10 to 8.5. That's how many points the Falcons are favored by with an over-under of 42. 83% of the spread money is on the Atlanta Falcons. Chris, are you?
I'm on the Falcons. The spread's a little too much for me. I'm excited about what Michael Penix can bring to the table for the Falcons. I think it is a winning formula as far as what they can do on the offensive side of the ball. The Giants, as we know, one of the most disappointing things about the Giants all year is they can't stop the run. Their D-line's too good to be where they are as far as run defense is concerned. Atlanta's going to be able to run the ball. And then that sets up for something you've heard me talking about. Like, they can't ask Michael Penix to do all the Kirk Cousins stuff, read coverages, boom, 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 be surgical and tactical that way. He hasn't played enough football. That would not be fair to him. That's going to be hard on him, and it could set him up for failure. Run the ball, play action, Drake London one-on-one outside, boom, throw a rifle over there, first down. That's the way it should be. Having said all that, I clearly think the Falcons are going to win, but the 8.5, like I said, is just too much. I still think we're going to see mistakes from Michael Penix. Hold the ball too long, maybe get strip sacked, give the short field to the Giants. And the Giants, no doubt, are better with Drew Lock than Tommy DeVito. So I'll look at this, and I'm going to go Falcons 21-17. But there's going to be some rust and some growing pains here with Michael Penix. I just can't believe 8.5 points. That's a little too much.
See, I feel like this is either Giants win or Falcons cover. I have a hard time thinking that it's going to be close if the Falcons win because the Giants are either done or they've got enough in the tank that they can capitalize on the fact that you've got a young quarterback and you've got an offense that needs to incorporate him. And I think we're going to see different play. Like, maybe rollouts that cut the field in half, and you got a short option and a long option, so you don't have to do the full field read.
Sure.
You might see that
Sure.
from Michael Penix. And we've got the whole they still have the running game. I just think that the Giants, as you get deeper and deeper into a lost season, I think it becomes harder and harder to muster the urge to go out there and get the victory. It's a home game for the Falcons. I think that helps them. I think they cover 23-13 is the score that I've picked. But I think if the Giants cover, they also win. I don't think the Falcons win and fail to cover. But as usual, what the hell do I know? Cardinals at the Panthers. 4.5-point favorite is Arizona, even though it's going to be 35 degrees, which Kyler Murray apparently thinks is a little cold. He was strident about playing in the cold until they told him it was going to be 35, to which he said, shit. So will it be a win or will it be a loss for the 7-8 Cardinals at Carolina, which has been close in recent weeks, but they can't punch it over the top?
No, I'm going Arizona Cardinals here. I am. I expect the Cardinals, what we've kind of seen, when they can run the football, they become tough to stop and tough to defend. And I think this is a team in Carolina that they will be able to run the football on them. So I look at that. I'm kind of sick of Carolina's been better, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it doesn't
You still gotta win.
It doesn't
you gotta
amount
win
to jack,
at some point.
Jack crap. Exactly right.
Yes.
And I look at that. I think Gannon and what he does on the defensive side of the ball. It's not a ton of talent, but I always look at it and go, "Oh, I like the game plan. It's the proper approach." They just don't always have enough playmakers in that. But this is a team that I don't think has the playmakers to take advantage or make any big plays against the Arizona Cardinals. It's kind of a must-win situation for Arizona. Between that, the desperation, I think they got a few more playmakers. I think they'll move the ball in that Carolina defense. I'm going to take them. My score is 28-24 Cardinals.
So what was the spread on this one? I moved down
4.5. Yeah.
4.5.
I'm threading
so
it.
You're taking the Panthers to cover, which isn't a stunner because they have been covering. They haven't been winning, but they've been covering. Now, the one game they were the favorite, they got blown out. But when underdogs, they have been covering. I've got Cardinals 30-23, but I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the final score. I have confidence in the outcome. The Cardinals still alive. It's not going to be easy. They're a game behind both the Rams and the Seahawks. So you might catch one. It's going to be hard to catch both. They have an outside shot at maybe picking off the Commanders for the 7th seed. I doubt that will happen. So I still think they stay alive. They got through that losing streak. They won last week over the Patriots. They should win over an overmatched Panthers team 30-23. All right, Lions. Outdoors for the second time this season. Chicago, Soldier Field, a place that was a house of horrors for Jared Goff in 2018 when the Rams were en route to a Super Bowl appearance, had his worst game of the year, I believe, on a Sunday night in Chicago. They're still favored by 6.5 despite all the injuries and losing last week. And the Bears, if you've been watching the Bears, they really haven't been. I mean, the 49ers game didn't go well, but they played the Lions tough on Thanksgiving. They played the Vikings tougher than 30-12. There were a couple of inflection points that caused that game to get out of hand, but the Bears were in it in the second half. If Doug Kramer does the brushing crumbs off his shirt move when he comes in, they score a touchdown, they make it 13-7. It doesn't get wiped out by failure of an eligible or an ineligible to report. So, all that said, do you have faith that the Bears can either keep it close or pull off an upset in Chicago against the Lions?
I think I kind of look at it and go no and no. I just believe in whatever you want to say, the mojo, the culture of the Detroit Lions. I do think, like what Dan Campbell said earlier this week, they got punched in the mouth. It's going to make them recalibrate a little bit. I still, again, against the Chicago Bears, I know they got injuries on the defensive side of the ball. They got enough still to be a pain in the ass for the Chicago Bears offense. It's the depth behind it. If they want to put in the second-team D-line, that's where you really start to worry about the Detroit Lions. But, I worry Chicago's offense is just it's broken. It's simple. The quarterback is in the deep end treading water right now. You can tell that. You can see that. Troy Aikman alluded to it on Monday night. He just doesn't look comfortable. I think that's the bottom line and the thing you look at. He's affected in the pocket, whatever it is. He's not seeing the field well. And I just think that the Lions, with the way they are, the way their coach is, I think their offense is going to realize, wait, we're going to have to be the ones that carry the show here. And we're going to have to start playing high-level football to kind of bring us home and where we want to go here. I'm going to go Lions 27-17. Despite the cold air outside, I think the Lions will be a motivated football team and ready to go this weekend.
High of 32 on Sunday at Soldier Field. No precipitation. It looks like at kickoff it'll be upper 20s. The high will happen during the game, late in the game. It'll hit 32. No chance of precipitation. Again, that could all change between now and Sunday. Look, the safe thing for me to do, up 4 straight up with 3 weeks left in the season. I figured you'd take the Lions, right? Who wouldn't? Who in their right mind wouldn't take the Lions given how they've played this year? I'm taking the Bears.
Whoa.
I'm taking the Bears. I got a feeling. I got pasta and meatballs. And I haven't really leaned heavily into the bowl of pasta.
No, you haven't. You haven't
year.
Been very Italian this year. No.
But I'm feeling it. It's it's Christmas, the Feast of the Seven Fishes. Even though we don't do that, it's just part of the Italian identity. I got a gut feeling that the Bears are going to win, and maybe I'm influenced by the fact that the Lions. And hey, look, Dan Campbell, I'd run into a wall and bounce off of it for him, like that radio thing he did the other day where he's dropping F-bombs on an FCC regulated station. I thought it was awesome. You got to take chicken shit and make chicken salad, and he can do that. But at some point, you just don't have the horses. And Chris, here's the thing that concerns me. One-dimensional is what the Lions can end up being offensively. No David Montgomery. So Sonic, is he Sonic or is he Knuckles?
He's
One
Knuckles.
Of the two is gone. It's all down to Jahmyr Gibbs. It's outdoors. It's cold. That offense might not slip into overdrive like it usually does. And the defense, you get Caleb Williams going. You get DeAndre Swift going. You get DJ Moore. He ran the ball early. They got away from that, but he was running the ball early. Keenan Allen making some nice catches. I think the Bears could surprise them. And, to the extent that they want to finish the job. Because I think this all went off the rails for the Bears. The season went off the rails when they screwed up the late game clock management. This is a chance to rectify that shit show from 3 weeks ago today. And I think that gives them a boost as well. This is it. This is their last chance to do anything that anyone cares about this year. Let's go out and beat the Lions. We had a chance to beat the Vikings on Monday night. Let's go beat the Lions at home, and let's go into the offseason feeling like we're not far away from competing. So what was my score for this one? I got caught up in the Chicago weather. I closed the window. 23-20 Bears over the Detroit Lions.
Whoa. All Lions fans, Mike Florio, hate mail going your way.
Browns at Bengals. This was originally going to be the Thursday night game. It got flexed out. The Bengals have had a hard time with the Browns under Joe Burrow's tenure as quarterback, but it's Dorian Thompson-Robinson, not Jameis Winston. Bengals are favored by 7.5. 86% of the spread money is on the Bengals for the game to be played in Cincinnati. Over under 47. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, again, thrown out in this element. Must-win situation for the Bengals, basically. Got to win out, got to have a lot of help, all of that. I don't like that formula for the Cleveland Browns. I don't care how crappy the Cincinnati Bengals defense is. It's not going to be easy. You're like we've always talked about. I mean, it's just not like riding a bike playing quarterback. So I don't think he's going to be hitting on all cylinders to make and take advantage of every play that might be there as far as the Cincinnati Bengals defense and what they do. The other side is the side that jumps out to me. Again, it's a Cleveland defense that has talent, but that has not played all that well this year. And then you add that into they're just stupidly aggressive at times, just way too aggressive. And that bodes well for, this group right now. It's arguably the hottest passing game in football. We know that and what they're doing. I'm going to take Bengals 31-21 at home.
Okay, you got the Bengals covering. I went 27-20, and again, I don't have any idea what the line is when I pick it. That means Browns cover. I don't feel great about that.
Wow, you're not fading dysfunction this week, huh? You got away from that one.
I am true to my gut level reaction when I look at the game, think about the game for all of 1.3 seconds, and then pick the Bengals to win by the score of 27-20. Titans at the Colts. Colts are 3.5-point favorites, 42.5 over/under. Tennessee is an NFL worst, 2-12 against the spread this season. Colts still alive, but barely in the chase for an AFC playoff spot, and they had that game won last week until Jonathan Taylor-Un decided to drop the ball and have it North Korea on him out of the end zone. I feel like that was
it's a crusher. A crusher. I'm going to take the Colts to win this game, but I don't feel good about it. The Titans are definitely capable of doing this. I think they can run the ball on the Colts a little bit, and Mason Rudolph, this is the type of game that he'll be good in. The Colts don't let up a lot of big pass plays. Patience and 5- and 6-yard throws are what you do to attack the Colts. Mason Rudolph, that's what he is. He's not capable of making big plays down the field. So he plays right within that realm. And then the other side of that is, the Tennessee Titans defense is still damn good. It's still a pain in the ass. And this is still a totally inconsistent Indianapolis Colts offense with Anthony Richardson and all they do and all he does there. Having said that, I'm going to say they just have enough to get it done. It's going to be ugly. I'm going to take the Colts 23-20. But like I said, I thought about flipping this the other way too. I did. But I'm going to go with the Colts at home and the fact that the game means more to them right now.
They had the Broncos beaten. They had them beaten.
Right.
Jonathan Taylor drops the ball. It all fell apart after that. I don't think you get it back in a week. And I still would have gone with the Colts. But you know what did it for me?
Yeah, what? The talk by Brian Callahan. I know.
That Brian Callahan, F-bomb, shove it up your ass.
I thought about it too.
We're not soft.
Right.
Players are going to see that.
They are.
And they're going to view it like it's a different twist on Gerard Mayo saying the Patriots were soft. That motivated them and they won the next week. This is Brian Callahan legitimizing the question but answering it defiantly. It's kind of hard for Gerard Mayo to get all lathered up saying, how dare they call you soft? Oh, wait, I'm the one that called you soft. How dare I call you soft? It's easier for Brian Callahan to make that point. I think they're going to go in and they're going to win that game. So I'm either giving you a Christmas gift by being stupid and taking both the Bears as underdogs and the Titans as an underdog, or I'm genius. And I'm getting lucky, and I'm going to extend the margin because I got the Titans winning this one 24-21.
Or it's somewhere in between. It could be both. I think you're stupid for the Bears one. I think this one, there's a little thought
Here's what's going to happen. One of them is going to pan out, and the other one isn't. So it'll be right down the middle. Rams at the Jets. L.A. crossing the country for an early morning, based on their body clock, kickoff. It's an old NFC North rivalry game because Matthew Stafford was with the Lions all those years. Aaron Rodgers was with the Packers. They played twice a year. Rams are favored by 3. Jets are playing out the string, over under a 46.5. And the Rams really, 7-2 since they started 1-4, and they can taste the NFC West championship.
I'm going Rams. I'm going Rams all the way. Now, I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I'm going to take the Rams 28-21, but to me, one of the biggest disappointments in all of the NFL is the Jets' defense. The shitty-ass Jaguars and Mac Jones moved the ball up and down the field on the Jets last week. The Rams, as we know, one long week, extra time to prepare, against a coaching staff that there's a little bit familiarity with, and their offense has incredible balance, like we know. I think they're going to put the Jets in a bind on that side of the ball. But their ability to run and the play action pass off of it. So I really expect the Rams to have their way on the offensive side of the ball. I think the Jets can make some plays, and like the Aaron Rodgers quick short passes and all that, I do think we'll have a little value here against the Rams, who play a ton of zone defense. But the Rams defense has been good. The front seven's been making plays. They're harassing you. It's not easy to run the ball on them other than the Eagles. Right? They've been playing good on that side of the ball, front seven. They got disruptors. I'm going to take the Rams. They're going to ride the mojo. They slayed the beast of the 49ers last week. They can taste the NFC West title, 28-21 Rams.
27-23, everything you said. The Rams are dangerous. They're legitimate. They are peaking at the right time. That's the other side of this. It's a long season. And the fact that teams won games in September, October, November doesn't mean a damn thing
other different
than
teams right now.
what the standings are.
Right.
The standings are the standings, and I always say September and October wins are money in the bank. Who you are in December and January is what matters. And the Rams are what the Lions were early in the season, and the Lions are now what the Rams were early in the season. So many injuries, it's a challenge to win football games. The Rams are on the right track. The Jets, it's not like this story from The Athletic is going to galvanize the Jets. The players know it's a dysfunctional mess. Rams win. Jets move closer to the end. Rams move closer to the division title. Eagles at the Commanders. Philadelphia favored by 3.5 points. They're at 12-2. 86% of the spread money is on the Eagles. Chris, what say you?
Fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah. I mean, you know me. I feel like I'm the leader of the fan group right now of the Philadelphia Eagles. I just
come a long way.
I know.
You've come. You hate Jalen Hurts.
Well,
how can you be the leader of the fan club?
That's right. I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I just hated the discussion 2 years ago. I just hated the discussion 2 years ago of when they were an all-star team then and going to the Super Bowl. Everybody was trying to tell me he was the best quarterback in football, so that made my head explode because I was like, no, and he's nowhere near that. Please stop that discussion. Now people have realized that and where he is. And they're a little less obnoxious as a fan base altogether because of it, because they have finally gone, Chris Simms is right. He's not the best quarterback in football. He's somewhere around 10 in that range. But they're awesome. And they're another team. They're going to ride the momentum of this chance of them being a number 1 seed. Again, the A.J. Brown passing game stuff, I do think lit a fire under their ass that way. I don't think that the Washington team is big enough up front to handle this Philadelphia offense. And like we saw at the end of that first matchup, the dam started to break, and there was Saquon Barkley breaking big plays. They missed field goals in that first matchup. The game should have been more dominated by the Eagles than the scoreboard showed. Now, Washington can be annoying because they can be patient, and it's 5 yards, and it's 6 yards, and that's what's amazing about Jaden Daniels, is he can do that type of stuff, play a very mature brand of football, and kind of lead you on slow drives. I don't think they're going to be able to do that a second time around here against this Philadelphia team, who's willing to play some man-to-man and take some more chances. I'm going Eagles 30-17.
It's funny when you say the Eagles fan base is a little less obnoxious. I mean, it's still kind of in that range between throwing snowballs at Santa and throwing batteries at Dave Parker. But and I'm just kidding. I love the passion.
I do too.
I love the passion.
Yeah.
They are passionate.
Amazing.
They are demanding. And
right.
One of the challenges for the Eagles post 2017, they won a Super Bowl and their fans became like addicted to crack. Like they want another one.
They didn't get spoiled, that's
worse.
for sure. You're right.
It's funny because we talked about this earlier in the week. Like the Seahawks fans, they got their Super Bowl and they're like, we don't care anymore. The Eagles got theirs and the fans were like, we want more. We need more. We gotta have another one. We gotta have another one. We gotta have another one. Anyway, the Eagles win 28-20. And the Commanders, I don't think they're going to blow their playoff spot, but I'm not 100% sure.
They're going to sweat it out.
They got the Falcons coming to town next week, and they don't have to face Kirk Cousins for a homecoming. He got that disrupted by the benching. And then they have the Cowboys to finish the season.
Not going to be easy.
It might get interesting. You might have the Falcons or the Seahawks, currently technically second place in the 2 divisions, rise up and maybe knock them out. We'll see, because it's not going to be easy for the Commanders down the stretch. But they may get Jonathan Allen back sooner than later. Marshawn Lattimore played last week. Those are all positive signs. All right, let's take a break. When we return, the late games from Sunday, including Josh Allen trying to keep the MVP train rolling. That's next on PFTPM. Chris Simms Unbuttoned, presented by Little Caesars Pizza Combo Pizza.
Pizza.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code PFTLive when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours as always. Please bet responsibly, only with money that you can afford to lose, because if you listen to me, there's a good chance you will, except for this year. But don't. It's going to go the other way. The dice might be hot. They're going to cool off, and this may be the week that it happens. All right. I think that's all. I've completed the read. That was everything in the read. It's the Picks Podcast. PFTPM and Chris Simms Unbuttoned, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Pizza. Sorry, I was sorry. I know. I was kind of looking at my notes here.
How many times have we done this?
I know. Sorry.
Oh, pizza, pizza. That was so funny. That was so funny. When that was on SNL, there's always one or two moments a week when I watch SNL where I laugh out loud, and that was great.
It was pretty good.
When
was.
She goes Little Caesars, and he's like, pizza, pizza. All right.
110%.
I think he was imitating Gronk. Here we go. Vikings giving 3 to the Seahawks late afternoon on Sunday. I am 12-2 straight up in Vikings games this year and 11-3 against the spread. And I know what you're going to want me to do. You're going to want me to go first.
Of course.
It's the regular season home finale for the Seahawks, who are pitted in a duel with the Rams to win the division. The Vikings have their playoff berth. It kind of feels like no matter what they do, they're not going to win the division. I'm still not ready to give up on them. They have, early in the year, they were getting big leads and then holding on for dear life. Now they're in these cluster F games where, like against Arizona, they were behind and they came back. Against the Falcons, it was 21-21 in the fourth quarter, and then they found the gas pedal and mashed it for 3 touchdowns. And then, against the Bears, it could have been 13-7 in the third quarter, and the Vikings ended up pulling away and winning. I think that they will eventually find a way to win this game. I've got 27-24. I think there will be a lot of Vikings fans at the games. There's a complacency in the Seahawks fan base. Maybe they react to it by being extra loud. I just think that they're not as into it as they used to be. I don't know whether it's the hockey team, the baseball team, there's something else they're into. They're just not into it like they used to be, and this team hasn't done enough to bring them back.
Well, you're on the spread, so you want to go up or down? What do you want to do here?
Wait, is it 3 points?
Yeah.
27. 27-23. 27.
Ah, damn.
Yep.
You messed it up. You messed it up. Damn.
All right.
You could what was your original score? We could have been so close. If you just went 28-24, we would have had a bingo bango, but you missed it. You messed it up.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But either way, I hear a lot of what you're saying. We've talked about the Seattle defense being better the last few weeks. They got their ass whooped on Sunday Night Football last week against the Green Bay Packers. But also in that, Green Bay is really good. I think people are going to see that here down the stretch. But Minnesota poses similar problems. And Minnesota, it's not the good running team that the Green Bay Packers are, but every bit as good, if not better, throwing the football. And if they want to crowd the line of scrimmage and try to play man-to-man against this group in Minnesota, they're going to be in trouble. And I think they'll probably be a little reluctant to do that. And they'll play zone, and they'll still be in trouble. But here's the big problem with me with the matchup altogether. The Seahawks offense, it's really been not good for the last few weeks. Some of the point totals look better than they are because the defense has made plays, whether it's a pick six or a turnover that's given them a short field. It was bad last week. It was just okay against the Cardinals. It wasn't great against the Cardinals before that in the game. It was just okay against the Jets. I worry about that. I'm going 28-24 Vikings.
One of the reasons I went Vikings as well, even though they've traditionally not fared well in Seattle.
Yeah.
I got this weird feeling they're going to end up with the 1 seed and probably blow it and not get to the Super Bowl. But I have a weird feeling they're going to end up with the 1 seed, the way this 12-2 thing with the Eagles, the Lions, and the Vikings plays out.
You're hilarious.
All right.
You're hilarious.
What?
Pasta and meatball. Well, you're just funny. I mean, you started the conversation with like, well, I finally believe in one of the best teams in football.
I believe it's all part of the setup. Number 1 seed, and then piss down your leg against a team that comes in the divisional round and beats you. All right, Patriots at the Bills. First of 2 meetings between New England and Buffalo down the stretch. The Bills are 1 game away from becoming the first team in NFL history to score 30 or more points for 9 straight games. They're favored by 14 with an over-under of 46.5. It's tied for the biggest spread of the week. 84% of the spread money is on Buffalo. I can tell you right now, I think 14 is too low. The Bills chasing the Chiefs and the Patriots chasing their tails. Give me the Bills in this one. I'll go ahead and go first. The Bills win this one 42-13, and it may be take out Josh Allen and put in the backup Mitch Trubisky at some point in the second half. That's how bad this one could be.
This just feels like one team's flying high and on Super Bowl high, and we want to go there. And it kind of feels like the other team's going to be, oh, gosh, we got to go to Buffalo, and it's loud, and it's cold, and I'm talking about it, my head coach is going to be back next year for the season. This just feels like, check out Charlie, see you later, we're done with the year. And one team's going to be not only motivated by still trying to be the 1 seed, still trying to go to the playoffs hot, they're going to be motivated by that 30-point thing that you just talked about. That's a special accomplishment, especially for an offensive coordinator who's ding, 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 trying to be a head coach as the offensive mastermind somewhere. He's going to like to have that on his resume, along with Josh Allen being an MVP. They're not going to let their foot off the gas pedal. We might see a few big plays by Drake May, blah, 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 but Josh Allen and them are going to cut right through that Patriot defense. 34-14, Buffalo Bills.
Speaking of ding, 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 there's one other prop bet that I am going to go ahead and set. Number of dildos thrown on the field in this game is 1.5.
1.5. All right. What do you like, the over or the under there?
I got a feeling the over because
I think it's the over
now.
Yeah.
He's working for Fox. They're kind of waiting for the first time he calls a game there. He had a Bills game in San Francisco earlier this year, so I'll go over 1.5 and give me the over on the number of dildos thrown on the field.
The double dildos, and will the size matter on those dildos?
Jaguars at the Raiders. Raiders favored by 1. Over under of 40. It's the lowest over under the week. Who you got?
I mean, I'm taking the Raiders. I'm trying to look at my score and keep my concentration here. The Raiders D, as you saw the other night, it's not bad. Aiden O'Connell at quarterback will give them enough offense. The Jaguars sucky ducky. I'm not taking them. Raiders 19-16.
I got 17-10 Raiders. Let's move on to the next game. 49ers at the Dolphins, a rematch of Super Bowl 19. I remember that was like the first Super Bowl that was really hyped because both teams were great. And then the 49ers just absolutely dismantled the Miami Dolphins that year. 38-16. 38-16, that's right. Damn it. I got half of it right. I get partial credit.
You'll learn.
Except when you don't have any idea what the fact is. Other than that, you're a historian. The Dolphins favored by 1. Both teams are 6-8. Neither team is going to make the playoffs, but the winner might still have a chance to pull a rabbit out of their ass. Who do you like?
Gosh, I know. It's just so disappointing. It's deflating, this game. All this talent on the field, right? Two teams that just missed the mark this year. Never really got it going in consistent weeks to just put it together. Found ways to blow games, whatever. I feel like this is one where the head coaching matchup between McDaniel and Shanahan, there's going to be bragging rights on the line there. I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel like the Dolphins' loss last week is more crushing to them. The way they lost it, they kind of outplayed the Texans. They blew it, right? I feel the 49ers kind of knew what they were, and it was a long shot that they can make something happen. I'm going to say down in the warm weather, Shanahan gets them motivated. They play a little bit more of a physical brand of football than the Dolphins. They find a way to muster up some energy in this one. Little pasta and meatballs, 28-24 Niners.
I got 24-21 Niners, and I agree with you. And, Mike McDaniel talked earlier this week about the 3 interceptions that were thrown by Tua Tagovailoa on passes targeted at Tyreek Hill. And McDaniel said both guys took accountability for it. Tyreek Hill didn't have any accountability for it. I mean, they were bad throws. Bad throws that shouldn't have been made. All of them.
Mike, this is one of my problems with the Dolphins. Everything's just become Tua. We just want to make sure Tua looks okay. It's hard to win games or be successful when the main objectives is just to make sure one guy can look good and we don't get him hurt. That's the game plan every week. Really hard. The NFL's hard to win games, as you know. When you're going in with a preconceived notion of how you want the game to go, man, it's even harder. And, yeah, there's always seems like excuses around that subject there down in Miami.
Way too early prediction for the offseason. I think Chris Greer is going to be out as GM. It's just a wild guess, uninformed. I think he's going to be out, and I think if you're looking for a coach and you like Mike McDaniel, you might want to call Stephen Ross and see what it'd take to pry him away, because I have a feeling, even though he gave him an extension last year and he probably don't want to fire him and buy him out, I have a feeling he'd take a draft pick or two to move on because it feels like they have reached the limit of what they're going to do under this group. The problem is they're committed to Tua for 2 more years. They gave him that big contract with 3 years of full guarantees. They've got 2 more years that they have to employ Tua, but just like the Browns, they don't have to put him on the field if it comes down to it. All right, let's take a break. When we return, the primetime games for Week 16, including Baker Mayfield going back to his home state of Texas. That's next on PFTPM and Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
Yeehaw! DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your bets win. Download the app, use promo code UNBUTTONED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Welcome back to the PFTPM Chris Simms Unbuttoned Picks podcast, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Pizza.
All right, Sunday Night Football. A game that at one point we thought might be flexed because the Cowboys were caca. They have become uncaca recently, and they still deliver even when they are at their worst. That Giants game on Thanksgiving had massive ratings considering how bad the teams were, and it was backup quarterbacks.
It's incredible.
It really is. It really is. So, Tampa Bay at Dallas, Baker Mayfield back in Texas. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs trying to complete the task of winning the division. They need to stay a game ahead of the Falcons because the Falcons have the head-to-head tiebreaker. 3.5-point favorites, 48.5 over-under. It's the highest over-under of the week. Chris, who do you got?
Yeah, Dallas has played better football here lately, right? I mean, I know we've talked about it a lot. How can you not be impressed with what you've seen from them and what they do, right? On the offensive side of the ball, they've gotten CeeDee Lamb. They've gotten Dowdle going in the running game. That's encouraging. All right, the defense, ever since Micah and Deron Bland have gotten back out there and you got a Trayvon Diggs healthy, it's become like, oh, crap, it's not that easy to make plays against this group. So they're damn good. They are. I mean, on that side of the ball. Having said that, right, I just think right now Tampa's offense is on fire. And Dallas has problems with these type of offenses where they can be equally as explosive on both sides as far as running or passing. Tampa's one of the most explosive offenses in the game right now, running or throwing. And Dallas, with that aggressive defense they play, I think they'll make some plays in this one. I think Dallas's offense will make a few plays. It just won't be enough to keep pace with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got Bucs 31-23.
You know, it's funny. You did that whole wind-up, and then you said, having said that. Having said that is like the first cousin twice removed of with all due respect.
Yeah.
Because once you say, having said that, you know what's coming next.
Right,
so I'm not even going to do the bouquet for the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, they have played better. Yes, Cooper Rush has been very good, as he was a couple of years ago in place of Dak Prescott. Rico Dowdle has it going on. CeeDee Lamb quietly having a spectacular year, and he needs, I think the number is 21 catches in the next 3 weeks to match Michael Thomas for the most receptions for the first 5 years of a player's career in NFL history. The record's 510, and CeeDee Lamb's at 489. He's the only Cowboy other than Michael Irvin to have 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. So CeeDee Lamb is earning his money still. Having said that, the Bucs are ready to close this out, win this division, and be a problem in the postseason.
The Bucs D is just a question, right? That's to me the question.
I hope Jason Garrett gives in to his Cowboy connection and picks the Cowboys because this is my chance to get co-red vest with him.
You're right.
On Football Night.
He won't do it.
All right. Monday Night Football. Pete said next game 5 times. I guess we should get to the next game. Saints at Packers. Packers are favored by 14. Biggest spread of the week, along with New England Buffalo. 42.5 over-under. I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time on this. Do you see any way that Jake Haener and the Saints are going to go to Lambeau Field and knock off a Packers team that's among the best in the league?
Well, we're going to see Spencer Rattler, right? I think that's who we'll see.
Rattler,
but either
Jake
way,
Haener,
I know your point.
Archie Manning.
Right. They're
Bobby
definitely a little
Hebert.
more dangerous with Spencer Rattler, but not dangerous enough to where I'm going to pick them or
Aaron
anything like
Brooks.
that. I think Green Bay is about to turn the corner here. I think Jordan Love and what we saw last week is going to be the start of watch out. And we know they can run the freaking ball. All of that. Yes, the Saints, the way they lost last week, I think that hurts. No Derek Carr, of course that hurts. I'm going Packers 28-17.
34-19 Packers, and we don't need to say any more about that. When we return, we'll say plenty about our best bets of the week and Folsom Prison/County Blues pick. That's next on PFTPM.
I hear a
Picks
train
podcast,
coming.
delivered by Little Caesars. It's the PFTPM Chris Simms Unbuttoned Picks podcast, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Pizza.
Okay, best bets time. We disagree on 2 games straight up, 6 disagreements against the spread. We'll see how the best bets play out, where I am woefully behind. Give me your first one.
Well, I'm going with the team that you've seen me ride a lot lately. I'm going with the team that's consistent. I know what I'm getting every week. The Philadelphia Eagles, 3.5 points against the Commanders. Just too low for me. I think the Eagles are in a different class. I think they can smell the number 1 seed. I got them winning by 13 points.
I got the Bills covering the 14-point spread against the New England Patriots. I just think the Bills are in a class far and away above the Patriots. The separation between the best and the worst in the NFL this year is as stark as it's been since the 70s. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, I'm taking that one too. I'm going with the Bills as well. I hear you there, and it just feels like a game where the Patriots are going to be like, man, let's go home and get ready for Christmas.
All right, I'll take the Rams at the Jets. Given 3, I think it is. Give me the Rams to win that game by more than 3 points. Even though I picked 3.5, I picked a fairly close score. I still think the Rams cover.
Okay, all right, I like that. My last one, I'm going to Chicago, baby. Yeah, I'm taking the Lions, not the Bears. I'm taking the Lions. Best bet. I think that they're going to be a motivated football team. I think the Bears are a beaten down puppy. I like the Lions to cover that. What spread was it? I can't even remember.
6.5. Hey, Thomas
6.5,
Brown,
yeah.
Clip this and play this to your players on Saturday night. Don't play this part, though. I think you're going to win, and I'm willing to give and take the 6.5 and call it a best bet. Bills, Folsom Prison Blues.
Of course, Bills too. I'm taking them too. See you later.
Merry Christmas. See you next week.
See ya. Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.